Chinese is one of the most widely spoken languages in the world. 1 out of every 5 people speak Chinese. Chinese is also recognized as a difficult language to learn. So you're thinking about learning Chinese, but not sure if you can take on the challenge. Not sure where to start. You don't know how to make the study plan. Or maybe you've already started, but want to give up because Chinese is harder than you thought. No, Chinese is not easy, but it's also not as hard as you think if you have the right guidance and learning materials. So in today's video, I'll be showing you the Chinese language system, the benefits of learning Chinese, the foundation of Mandarin Chinese, different learning materials, and of course, HSK Chinese proficiency test. Hi everyone, I'm Nina. I am a native Chinese speaker living in Australia. So I speak Mandarin, English, Shanghainese. I've also learned French for 3 years and self-studied Korean. With many years of experience in language exchanging and my Chinese knowledge, I hope this video will answer some of your questions and build your confidence in learning Chinese. 今天视频的内容有点多，所以你可以直接跳到你想要观看的内容。So without further ado, let's dive in. Chinese language has an incredible long and continuous history. The earliest pictographic symbols appeared in Henan province of China around 8,000 years ago. These symbols later evolved into oracle bone script, which is the earliest writing system of Chinese. After 1,000 years of evolution, it developed into the modern Chinese characters, which are the writing system we now use in Mandarin Chinese. What exactly is Chinese? What's the difference between Chinese and Mandarin? And how about Cantonese? Is that also Chinese? Everyone knows that China is a large country with long history. So each region has its own dialect, or we say regional language. For example, my hometown is in Shanghai, so I speak Shanghainese. It's a language can be written in Mandarin Chinese, but the pronunciation and the vocabulary are very different from Mandarin. Guess how many dialects we have in China? 129, which is way too many. So we classify them into 10 major dialect groups based on the similarity of pronunciation. These 10 groups are completely unintelligible between speakers. The most widely used dialect is Mandarin, with over 800 million native speakers all over the world. So since 1932, Mandarin has become the official language of China and also one of the official working languages in the United Nations. Regardless where you were born in China or what dialect you speak at home, all Chinese people in mainland China are required to learn Mandarin Chinese, which we also call it 普通话. But in Hong Kong and Taiwan, it's called 国语. The second most common dialect group is Wu language, which is mostly used in Changjiang River Delta. And the Shanghainese also belongs to this group. Cantonese is at third. So now you can see Cantonese as a dialect of Chinese, because its writing system still follows the traditional Chinese. However, it also can be considered as an independent language, because it cannot be mutually understood with other languages in terms of spoken language. Every language has its own learning system. For example, to learn Japanese, you need to learn hiragana and katakana. And to learn Korean, you need to learn Hangul. As for Chinese as a tonal language, you need to learn pinyin, tones, and hanzi. Pinyin is a romanization system to represent the sounds and the pronunciation of Mandarin Chinese. Each character consists of an initial consonant plus a vowel. For example, the Chinese character of the number 8 is called ba, where b is the initial and a is the vowel. Also, there are 4 tones in Chinese. Ba means 8, ba means pool, ba means target, ba means daddy. I know this may sound difficult to you, and a lot of you worried about pronouncing it wrong and say something that it shouldn't say. But in fact, tones are not as hard as you imagine. First, not every pinyin has 4 tones. For example, ta means it, ta means tower, ta means step on. In Chinese, we actually don't have a word or a character with a pronunciation of ta. So in this case, ta only has 3 tones, right? The second reason is These 4 tones actually exist in English as well. For the first tone, you simply rest at the top of your natural vocal range. So in English, it's something like you're saying, thank you, Merry Christmas. They kind of like share the same tone. For the second tone, you basically raise your voice like you're asking the question. In English, the similar tone could be what? Why? And in Chinese, there's example like 什么? Are they sound similar? What? 什么? The pronunciation of the third tone is more like resting your voice at the bottom of your natural vocal range. Something like you say, yeah. In Chinese, there's example like 我的, yeah, 我的. They sound very similar to each other. For the fourth tone is a sharp and downward inflection, like you're trying to emphasize something. Similar to when you say, hey, stop. In Chinese, there's example like 是对 hey, stop 是对 Except the pronunciation, a lot of people struggle with Chinese characters, which are called 汉字. Well, I have to say it is a challenging part because 汉字 is completely different from the Roman alphabet. In the dictionary, there are about 80,000 Chinese characters. However, the average literacy rate for native Chinese speakers is about 8,000 characters. If you know the most common 500 characters, you can read about 75% of modern text. If you know thousands, you can understand roughly about 89%. If you can recognize 2,500 Hanzi, you can understand about 95% of Chinese papers. So don't be intimidated by the sheer number of Chinese characters. They may seem very different from one another, but there are rules in the composition, structure, and the stroke order. Chinese characters are made up of various components, where some components can stand alone as an individual Hanzi. Some forms other Hanzi if combined with other components. For example, wood in Chinese character is mu, and when 2 mu are combined, it forms the character ling, which usually means somewhere with some trees. If we combine 3 mu together, it becomes another character sen. Remember the ling we just talked about? Sen ling is a word with 5 woods in it. So guess what does that mean? Forest. Isn't that interesting? So if you remember mu, which means wood, you can easily recall sen and ling, and other characters with component of mu, such as 树 for tree, 枝 for branches, 果 for fruit. If you're interested in learning more about Hanzi, the structures, and how to memorize them, I recommend you watching these 3 videos, which will give you some guidance on recognizing, memorizing, and writing Hanzi. The only thing is, in mainland China, we use the simplified Hanzi, which have fewer strokes. In Taiwan and Hong Kong, they still use the traditional Hanzi. So if you want to know Mandarin Chinese, definitely go with the simplified Hanzi and make sure you stick with it. Now let's talk about learning materials. Nowadays, there are like plenty resources online, Chinese learning channels, Mandarin learning TikTok. So I don't want you to feel overwhelmed or not sure where to start. And to focus your attention, it's better just stick with HSK learning materials. HSK stands for 汉语水平考试, the Chinese proficiency test. It now has new standards ranging from level 1 to 9, and the old version ranges from 1 to 6. If we take a look, there is a pretty clear standard for each level. When you reach level 3, you can master around 1,000 words and use Chinese to complete basic communication tasks in daily life, study, and work. When you reach level 6, you will have around 5,000 vocabulary words. It allows you to engage in fluent and decent social communication in professional fields related to study and work. If your goal is to do more complex social activities, you can continue learning until 9. So I believe just focusing on HSK learning materials is definitely enough for enhancing your vocabulary and grammar. Additionally, I recommend a dictionary app called Placo. It is a free app. Besides looking up the words, it also provides pinyin and audio pronunciation. If you purchase this add-on service, you will also have access to the features like flashcard and the stroke order. I think having a handy and a versatile dictionary app is quite essential for language learning. If you're confused about grammar, there's also a website called Chinese Grammar Wiki to help you with all grammar points. For example, if you want to learn about the word ba, you can input ba, click on it, and you will find all the information about how to use this word. You can also use Anki card. Learn Mandarin Chinese by drawing strokes, HSK 1 to 9, to expand your vocabulary and be familiar with Hanzi handwriting. And I'll put the link in my description box. Feel free to download it if you need it. If you want to learn more Chinese phrases, you can also follow my TikTok or YouTube shorts, where I share a lot of common Chinese phrases and vocabulary every single day. The last resource I want to share is a website called Mandarin. This video is not sponsored by this website, but this website offers its own lessons based on HSK tests and also some knowledge of Pinyin, Chinese grammar, and HSK sample test. It makes the learning material like a whole package deal, which is very easy to learn and follow. I think learning a new language really doesn't require too many resources. The most important thing is picking one or two that suits you, knowing what level of proficiency that you want to achieve while you want to learn Chinese, and also have a good study plan to stick with. If you don't have enough motivation to learn Chinese, I could give you some tips. First, if you want to communicate with native Chinese speakers, learning Chinese definitely helps you achieve this goal. It also gives you the opportunity to meet friends from other Chinese-speaking communities, such as Taiwan, Singapore, and Malaysia. Second, if you choose to learn Chinese, you will be able to understand the East Asian culture and history. It also allows you to deeply experience Chinese traditions and Chinese food. The third reason, China is the second largest economy in the world, which offers endless possibilities in cross-border trade and business. So having some knowledge of Chinese can give you a competitive edge in the job market, especially in the industry like international trade, financial service, e-commerce, and technology. There are many reasons to learn Chinese, and I believe everyone has their own. I would love to hear what's your motivation and the reason of learning Chinese. Please feel free to leave your thoughts in the comment section, and I think it will help the other learners to clarify their goal and also help me to make more relevant videos. Alright, that's all for today. I hope this video was helpful and informative to you. If it does, please help to support my work by hitting the like and subscription button, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye!